Hey folks, welcome. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and today was a cat and mouse. We actually did a lot of analysis today in entering into our trade. We're up $3. Yeah, not much, but the objective is to win money, not lose money, which gives us pause for this disclaimer. Day trading is extremely risky. Do not do it without a financial professional giving you advice. Otherwise, you will lose your shorts, and maybe more. So be careful out there. So to start off, I'm gonna do an analysis on trades that I did not take. So HGBX was the first one, and it's 637. We're already in the open here in this one, and I drew a trend line there with for as I'm looking for my favorite pattern, the stock moving up to the VWAP, falls back down and moves back up again. I was hoping for SGBX to do that. SGBX was a mover from yesterday, from last night. It was gapping up, and it had news last night, and I thought it might do it. I think I picked four stocks uh, to do that, and none of them panned out actually. Well, one I have had good move, but it was all in pre-market very early. So here we continue to watch, and our thought is that maybe we check back around 7 a.m. to see how this stock is doing, because right now it's moved up a little bit, but not enough for us. If you like our videos, the analysis, everything that we do and share with you, please like and subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. It costs you a lot less. So here we're a little bit more forward now. It's 7:02 a.m. I'm talking Pacific time, and you can see there down at the bottom of the MACD, I highlighted what's going on. It's on its downhill leg. The MACD has changed, and what we're looking for in those lines is a divergence. So the gray lines are volume, and what we're looking for is for them to be the opposite. We want the gray lines of volume to be higher on the right and lower on the left. The same thing goes for the pink lines there. We want them to be lower on the right than the previous one. That'll give us a divergence. So here, oh wow, I put that out of order. Sorry. So it's 6:46 a.m. now, and we're following what it's happening. And you notice that it's following my trend lines. I've been pretty accurate at drawing these trend lines before, especially when the stock is below VWAP. This is one case where it's going to fail. So it never made it. BIOA is another gap up stock from last night. And the one thing that I noticed right off the bat, if I don't know if you saw yesterday's video, but in yesterday's video, there was a stock that I called out with a chandelier candle pattern, because that's what it looked like. And this stock, even though it was gapping up last night, didn't have much success this morning. And what you see there is just it's forming that candle pattern, up, down, up, down, up, down, staying within that range and not moving and not going anywhere. And what's difficult about this pattern is that unless you have great timing, you're going to have a hard time making money out of it. And it's high priced. So imagine going in, failing, then going back in at $7. AREB. I don't remember that being from last night. It's got a good pattern here, and it moved up very well right off at the start. It's 6:48 a.m. Pacific, and it looks like it wants to have a second go at it. But we did not trade it either. We didn't trade it at the start. I wasn't watching it, and I really did not care for AREB. I looked at the daily, and it looked the pattern looked flat for months. And I didn't think it had the wherewithal to climb high. I mean, for some folks that took it, from 270 to what 362. That's almost a dollar. So hey, good for you if you could stomach it. But you can see there down by the MACD that I'm also drawing those lines. And what happens is that the negative, the pink lines are forming correctly, but the positive gray volume bars are the opposite of what we want them to be. So that means that the price is going to go down as opposed to go up. And later on, you will see that this happen in one of the stocks we trade. So our P&L for today, we took no negative trades. We made a dollar off of one stock, cannabis stock. And for the week, we're up $56. For the month, we're down 104, so we're down about $54, $50 from August to this point, which is good. And our efficacy, of course, was 100% today. All green trades. There's IMCC, the cannabis stock. We made $1.10, and then SCNX. I spent a lot of time analyzing that stock. So let's take a look at IMCC. And this one was just one that popped up at 618 pre-market, and it had news that it was investing in crypto, I believe. We went ahead and jumped in once it was past the $3 mark, and as you notice, I do not enter a trade unless I've drawn support lines. And there's one up there about 319, 318, and another one about right below 340. And everything looks good here. The MACDs look nice. Look at the volume, looks nice. Pretty clean chart. Uh, but doesn't look like the stock has the strength to hit that top of that VWAP band up there, which is the very light brown yellowish. And right here, where it starts coming down, I begin to wonder whether uh, it's going to go higher. Obviously, we went a little late. 304 is what we got filled in at, and it was just a matter of timing. By the time I think I was clicking between watch lists, and I saw it and I clicked on it. Was way too late. So what I thought I'd do right here would be to just watch it and see if it'll pick up. It's holding its own, but I test setting a limit, sell there. I hit control and clicked at 315, looking for an out, a profitable $1.10, and but the stock is trading below that. It's trading below our buy, but not terribly. I don't change it. I don't panic, and it's only the loss would be less than a dollar or a little over a dollar, unless it really flushes, which I don't think it was going to do. But the MACDs, I do begin to see them curl and close. So at this point, the stock is almost had it. But I keep my sell limit, and I think it's got a little bit of gas, so I'm going to keep it there. I don't know if you noticed, but on the watch list, on the P&L watch list, I added VTYX, a $7.50 stock. That was one of the movers from yesterday that had news, but it didn't do much today after very early pre-market. So I'm encouraged by the volume here. You see the volume increasing up, and it goes up, and it went higher than I thought it would. So it stopped us out, but and that's great. Would have been nice to have put the sell limit up there at the top, but here you can see a little later what exactly happened. It just hit that 335, and on that same bar, it just flushed. So it's a good thing that we got out early and we didn't lose more bucks. Look at that, all the way down to 250. That's a hell of a loss. 75 cents. Luckily, we were only, what, 10 shares. But it would have been $7.50 loss had we been got caught in that flush. So this was very analytical, and part of what we have to do if we want to stay green, which should be the objective. You don't come onto the stock market to lose money. You come in here to make money. So if you want to do that, you got to analyze. You got to be technical. So that was the first trade, $1.10 positive, and then we move on to the next one, SCNX, and we're watching this one right before the. We were watching it bit prior to the open and a little earlier in pre-market, and it moved up to 99 cents there, but I thought that it wasn't going to hold, and that it was going to flush, and it sure did. Right around 610, 611, 612 or so. And we were busy still setting ourselves up, so we weren't about to go in around 610. Today we were not in a hurry to jump in, which is usually what happens to most beginner traders. They're looking at a stock and they're very positive that they're going to make money, and they jump in. And tell you, months ago, I would have jumped into this stock blindly. I would have said, you know what, I want to make some money here, and I would have bought and I would have lost because I would have picked the wrong entry. And so you have to do your analysis. And the range here between 90 and 99 cents is only 9 cents, which is great if you can get it, but you have to go in with a lot of shares, and it's a sub dollar symbol after all. And so what happens is your risk is greater. And in the pre-market, remember, you can't use your template. So we're waiting, and we're here at this point. I've tagged up there, got like 95 cents, 49, 95, 49 as what I think it needs to go above in order for me to begin to think about taking a trade on it, because the MACDs look like they're curling down, like nothing's going to happen. But we think that it might shoot up past the dollar at the start. So we're going to be cautious, and we hang on. The volume's looking good. It's got green on the 5 minute. The 5 minute also looks like we're just waiting for a new candle to make a new high there, uh, prior to the previous candle. So now the market is open, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 on the Eastern Coast. And now we can, if we want to jump in, we can use our template. And you see that I went in there, set up my template. It was 68 cents up. I changed that to 40, and I kept it down to 18 cents down below, because I thought that if I go in, this stock needs room. It's going to need 18, 20 cents at least at a minimum, and I didn't want to get stopped out. The EMAs, cyan, fuchsia, blue, and yellow, are sitting there pretty nicely, and it's moving up a few cents. But it's a misnomer if you look at the candles, right? The candles look big, but yet it's only moved 2 or 3 pennies. And look at that. Big old indecision candle before it jumps back up again. So on the one side, you could say, well, if you don't take any risk, you're not going to make any money, which is what we essentially did today, right? $3. You didn't jump in, and you don't jump in the water, you're not going to learn how to swim. Well, I got a bad story about that too. I went with some friends to a lake out here in SoCal, and it's a very, moves like the ocean. It's a good move here. We try to get in with our template. We don't get filled. We try a second time, and we don't get filled, because here would have been a nice 3 or 4 cent win with 500 shares. And it's a good thing we didn't get filled, though. So I was hanging on there. I wanted to press the buy market, but you see that candle just start coming down. Anyway, the story about the lake. So I don't know how to swim. So we were in a little dinghy fishing boat, and they said, well, we're out in the middle of the lake. It says, you got to jump in. So I throw myself in the water like a dummy, and I start drowning. And luckily, they're two big guys, so they were able to pull me up. And what they're upset about is they're upset that I'm rocking the boat so much that they think it's going to tip over in the middle of the lake. Not that I was almost drowning. So that's my jump in the lake and swim story. And the same thing with the market here. Just because you see a stock, this stock, if I jump in, it's not going to make me rich. It's not going to make me a whole lot of money. With $3, maybe I can buy half a cup of coffee, but it's something, right? So we continue to watch. It was a good move up to $1, and if you're quick or if you had the template set close to $1, you would have gotten out. Obviously, my template was 40 cents higher, so even if I'd gotten filled at 95 cents, this thing didn't go to $1.35. So by the time I clicked, it would have been kind of hectic. So we move ahead here. Now we're at 6:40 a.m. Pacific. And what I'm doing down at the bottom is I draw a triangle, a blue one, and you'll see there what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. The pink bars are obviously to the downside, and the one on the left is lower than the one on the right, which means that the price action is going to remain close. The gray bars, which are the bull ones, is sort of moving up, but as long as those pink bars are in that way, there's no divergence, there's no separation. We want separation for the price to go up, right? And that's what we're waiting on. Unless I understand divergence wrong, because I know I saw a video out there of somebody uh, doing it differently. So doing it this way. Oh, this means the price will go up. So um, from what I've experienced, it's the other way around. But who knows? The other thing is the volumes, and I draw that here as well. There's too much red for my taste, and you see there it flushed. We move up a little further at 6:43, and the reason I do these changes or these transitions is because in between I go look at other stocks and they weren't worth looking at, so I cut them out. I come back to this one because I thought it had an opportunity. I thought it had potential. And as we find out a little later, it does have potential, but I wasn't at my desk again. But that's okay. I didn't miss much. So we continue to keep an eye on it. And again, it's moving between what, 93 and 94. It looks like there's a lot of price action and like you could jump in and make money. You can't. You got to analyze it. So I draw a line down at the bottom, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that green MACD to follow that line and rise above the signal line, to rise above the red. And here's the equivalent up on the chart. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for it to maintain that height and continue upwards. And we want it to go again past that 95-cent marker there and hold above, because if it does, then it has a potential for generating a new channel in which will that 95 becomes support and it'll go higher. But at this point it doesn't do it, and I'm not about to risk my $1.10 on a blind bet. If I'm sitting here and I tell you this months ago and I was sitting here, I would have jumped in right there. I would have jumped in. I said, "Oh, this is going to move up. It's going to move up," but it doesn't. I don't know if you can see it. If you look at the dimensions of the green bars and the red bars there, like I said, there must be some type of pattern that describes it, but I don't know it. I'm a noob. To me, it looks like a chandelier forming. It's got a green bar and then a red bar right next to it, and and if you look at that pattern there, almost dimensionally, it looks like it's building a square or a corner, and like you're looking at a chandelier from afar. So here, the MACD down below doesn't doesn't follow our trend, and instead turns down, and so do the bars up here. the volume is still decent, but it's a lot more red still than I would like. And we're here at 647 now. And in one of the earlier ones when I was watching is what was the other one? SCNX. At this point, I was switching back and forth to that stock, looking to see if it had made my 7 a.m. prediction, and it didn't. And I had to cut that. So I failed on that one. So here, now that we see that it is starting to turn down and we're getting some pink there, what we're looking for that pink to do is to fall below that blue line. It's got to go below the prior pink lines. We just switched, moved ahead, 6:51 a.m. Pacific, 9:51 on the East Coast. And we continue to watch it, but you can see the awesome oscillator in the middle there, right below the 5 minute chart. It's got 4 red bars, and it's got 3 green bars to the left, and then it's on the left side is bordered by another 5 lines of all red, which means folks are selling. And again, if we look at the stock price, yeah, it's holding above 90, 91, but it is only moving to 94, 95, and that's about it. And it's having a hard time. That that line I drew there off the daily is perfect. That's where the resistance is. That's where the if you go look at the daily, it's where most of the action is bunched together, and and that presents a problem. And there was a little bit of an issue with I think the stock market today. It looked like it had gone down yesterday. It looked not a whole lot of bullish this morning, and I'm talking Nvidia, the SPY, etc. So I'm drawing a circle here, and this circle to highlight what I consider and what I'm calling a chandelier pattern there with multiple uh, Christmas trees put together. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like candles, right? Uh, we just draw a circle around it. It's a chandelier. I apologize if the white circle is a little bit too much. I'm going to fix it here in a second. I got to get the alpha right. So you can right click on the colors, click on more, click on the color, and up at the top it'll have tabs. You can go to the RGB channel. It'll have the 3 numbers for the saturation, hue, etc. And then the last number down below is the alpha channel. You can just use the slider to slide it down. So in this case, I chose white, went back in, went into the RGB tab, and then just used the alpha and brought it down to about between 18 and 28. And that draws the opacity down. And then you can draw circles on there with this kind of effect so that you can still see the background and uh, the candle bars are prominent. So it's 6:54, 6 minutes to go to the top of the hour. And we think the top of the hour, 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., also bring on new buyers. Over on the 5 minute, what looks good is that cyan line right below the candle bars. It's moving upwards, which shows that the stock is moving up. But the volume, look at that, still red. And down our MACDs. Now here's something I was not expecting. This was a huge surprise. So somewhere a buyer must have come in, and it just shot way up. And I didn't notice that. I didn't pay attention, and I wasn't ready even now during the recap for it. But you can see there a whole bunch of buyers are jumping in. There was one there, the 400, 200. So the point to jump in would have been there, but uh, you would have had to guess that that was going to happen. The indicators had no idea. The volume had no idea that that was going to happen. So somehow, out of the blue, at 6:54, 6:55, uh, some folks decided to go in and buy it up. Buy it up. So that's a matter of timing. You can't predict for those things. You cannot plan. There's no technical. There's no instinct. I mean, it just happens, and it happens so quickly. There's nothing absolutely you can do about it. It's just move on and continue watching it. Now the stock really has a nice price move. It's moved up past two of our resistance levels. Even though up here at the top it's having issues, and it looks like 108 is it's capping. And so we continue to watch and look at this as a and look for our divergence pattern. We're still not happy with it, and we're okay that we weren't in it and that we didn't make money. It's and look at that. All it's doing is building another candle, another Christmas tree. And the point of all of this is that if we can learn to do this on this stock, on how it's moving, how difficult it is to traverse it, we can do the same on other stocks. The better we get at handling these types of moves and these types of stock, the better we'll be prepared when the stock market really gets going and it's bullish. We'll be able to pick a stock and we'll know exactly. Look at that. It hit all the way below 9, all the way below VWAP, and that's the channel lines that I drew prior. So it could not sustain the climb up there. So this isn't a stock that, oh, this stock is really strong, it's holding its own, we should jump in. This is not the type of momentum for us to jump in. I think that's the point. The stock is moving and some folks are making money. Well, good for them. But for a day trader, for momentum, for risk management, for protecting your money, this is not the stock to do it in. So stay away. I think that's the lesson. And it's taken me a few months to learn that. So I'm happy to share with you guys, and I hope that it helps somebody out there. There might be other folks that don't agree with it, and uh, they say, "Well, I made money on this one." Well, that's good for you. But the point is, if you get 10 stocks like this on 10 different days, you're not going to make money every one of those 10 days. So what I'm drawing here is now you see the pink lines are starting to fall below the prior pink set of pink lines, and the gray lines are now higher than the prior set of gray lines. So there's a divergence. But right now we're going to wait. So what we want is for those pink lines to fall lower, which they did. When they begin to pick themselves back up and the MACD starts going back up again, we expect for the gray lines to go as high as the prior set of gray lines and even beyond it. We're not going to jump in just because we see a little bit of the gray positive lines, because the volume is still red on the 5 minute. Now we start to get some green. Now it's the top of the hour, 7 a.m. And I was able to type in some text, albeit a little too small. But basically, what that text says is we're looking for those two lines that I drew there, the gray broken lines. We're looking for the distance between those two lines to separate. So we want the top line to move higher and the line at the bottom to go lower. When they increase, there's divergence and the MACD goes higher than the signal line, and the price will go up. And we're almost there. We got about 3 minutes, maybe less than 3 minutes left on this stock, and how it proves my point. So we're coming up on a cut here where I told myself at this point, it's not going to do it right now. It might do it at 8 a.m. So I walked away and went to the other room to talk to my wife for about 8, 9 minutes. And when I come back, I come into a surprise. And you'll see that coming up here soon. Uh, I leave, and there's the pattern is just not there. But when I come back, and I had stopped recording uh, during that time, so I pick it up when I came back. This stock is in a halt, and uh, the same thing that happened before with that big jump to 108 has happened again. Now our pink lines are below, but we're still looking for the gray lines to pop in and for buyers to come in. And they sort of start, but not totally. So it's 703. I think 706 is where I either pick it up or leave. Got a few more seconds here. But remember, we're looking for those lines to separate and for the volume to go way high. Yeah, so 703 I leave, I come back 706, and the stock is at 102. We're drawing lines here because what we're expecting to happen is to pass that line right there, and it blows right past my line. Now, if you look down at the bottom, you see the pink line. The set of pink lines is lower than the prior bar, and the gray lines are going up a little higher than the prior set of gray lines. We didn't jump in on this bar either, because look what it does. It just goes up to 112 and then it sells off. So we don't want to get caught in our and give our money to the bears. This is a little closer, and down below where the zero lag MACD is, you see me draw that line, and that line there is what we're looking for the MACD to do: push beyond that line, and for those gray lines that depict volume, the histogram, to push upward to that line. We've got two green lines in a row. There, I've highlighted it so you can see it better. That's the key that we're looking at this point. And look at that, another sell-off. Okay, so we're coming up to the cut point right here, 707. I step away, and I come back, and the stock is halted. And here's the halt. And this is what I want to show you. Remember what I said? Those lines have to diverge, and that's exactly what has happened. The MACD rose all the way up, and the volume rose all the way up. So this set of volume here, the gray volume, is higher than a prior one, and so is the pink set of lines of the histogram. And that's what we're looking for, that price separation. Um, and we're stuck in the halt at $1.29. And then I make an executive decision here that things look so good that what the heck, I'm going to jump in off of the halt, whether it goes down or not. I've got my little template that I'm going to use. 18 cents, I consider it to be a little bit too low, not generous enough in case it falls back, because what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting it for it to go down to 118, maybe even 108 before it climbs back up again. So I'm thinking I'm going to get stopped out. But I said, what the hell? I'm just going to jump in. And so I make my calculations, and I'm looking at the resumption price here. It's $1.31, and it varies. It goes from 131 to 135, and at the 19th minute, hour, and 34 seconds, it's when it'll uh, resume. And we're right now at 1821. So I get ready to, and I'm saying, oh, I'm going to buy for 500 shares, and I'm going to jump in real quick as soon as it resumes. At this point, there were other folks trading other things, but Airwave was also selling down. So I think I left a little bit too much of the hold it here, but maybe I wanted to offer commentary. But what made me decide to jump in was the volume. We've got a lot of green there, volume spread it through. So at this point, this stock is looking very attractive, and I think that folks are going to jump in. I'm not looking at the level two at all. I'm not even considering, but you can see that second entry there is at 10 for the bids from through UBSS, and that's times 100. So that's 1,000. And here we see it come back down a little bit. We're relaxed. We didn't jump in, and it didn't have the loss that I thought it would. It didn't go all the way down to 125. And with this move up here, then we say, okay, you know what? If it's going to try to hold 140, which I've got as a magenta line, which means it's it's a huge uh, resistance level, we jumped in, and we jumped in with our template. And look at the movement here. We're up 11 bucks, down to 195, back up to 21, back to 695. The candle spread there is 11 cents, and we're in with 500 shares. And I don't want to cancel the stop loss or the limit order. And I'm thinking whether I should take out half or not. We're up 26, we're up $31, and I'm thinking that it might go higher. And that froze me for a little bit, but I finally click flatten on 21.95, and look, it dropped to $2.55. And that's our day. And I hope you guys enjoyed it today. This analysis, I think, was really good. I hope it helped someone because it has helped me tremendously, not only to experience it, but to also recap it and be able to document it for you guys. And I think for me, it'll serve as the example that I want to follow from here on, especially through when the market is having issues. And I think I let it go right here because you'll see what happened. I think it drops from 147 back down, and I think from what I just saw, I checked. It's 12:07 p.m. and it does recover. It went up to 171, um, but you had to, uh, you know, live through these ups and downs of the stock, and that's how you lose money. I'm not interested in losing money. I shot my shot. I got $2.55 where I could have gotten 22, but that's just because it I wasn't quick enough or the software wasn't quick enough to fill me. It's okay. $3 green, and that's my day. Everyone, have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see what transpires tomorrow.